in that vein, I know a lot in the IT space, people talk about proactive this, proactive that, proactive maintenance, proactive security, proactive support, all these different things. That's something that I know we do pretty well. I don't think you've told me that before, so I'm just kind of speaking your words back to you. But could you tell me like how that makes you feel, or what it's like to have that peace of mind to know that things are kind of out of sight, out of mind, and when they're not, that you're going to be alerted to it?
Well, I think that is really the whole reason for our partnership. That's why we work together now. That's why we've worked together for the last 10 years, is that you guys are very proactive and you are looking ahead. We have a cycle that we're working through, about a 3-year cycle, where we renew kind of our plan every 3 years, and we look at it every 3 years to decide, where are we going to go next? Whether that's in terms of hardware, or whether that's in terms of software security and updates. So that's really been critical, and that's the one reason I would say you guys stand out from the other IT groups that I've talked to and worked with. I feel like most IT groups out there really, they're really after the fact. IT is what I'll call it.
Yeah,
if I can use that term.
Industry lingo is break fix. It's broken. I'm going to fix it. So, after the fact is going to be adopted in Cody's repertoire now going forward.
Damage control or whatever you want to call it. But I feel like we're taking the steps to try to do everything we can to prevent getting in a situation where we have to do a lot of damage control.
Yeah. And I don't want to completely bash that perspective of break fix, because that after the fact is a whole lot easier to sell and explain. And therefore it's a whole lot easier to buy and spend money on, because you feel a lot of pain or challenge or problem, and they solve a lot of pain or challenge or problem. And it's very easy to see exchange of value. Ours is not as easy to see. What is the...
I think that's true. Sorry to interrupt you.
No, you're good.
One of the things I've always said about IT, and I say it about payroll too a lot, is it's a thankless job in a way, right? No one is going to typically call up their IT folks and say, "Oh, hey, everything's running great. We had a great day today." It's not typically what happens. Same with payroll, right? Thanks for running my payroll this week.
Thanks for getting us paid.
Turned out great. It's sort of expected.
Note to self: email payroll.
You're just expecting that to run, 100% uptime all the time with no issues. And the reality is there's a lot of work that goes into trying to make that happen. And it all happens behind the scenes. And I think it's often very underappreciated.
Yeah, so. I think we are also unique in that we do get a lot of positive feedback from our clients. It's usually not as spontaneous as that example, but we do get a lot of emails of I had one just the other day talking about Ashley Stevenson on our team that said, "Hey, just want to let you know, Ashley did a great job. She made me feel like everything was going to be taken care of. And then when she got off the phone, everything was just fine and taken care of." And it's just a random email I got in the middle of a different email thread about a completely different conversation. We were talking about different things. This is a treasurer on the board of one of our nonprofits, and we were talking about nonprofit stuff. And he's just like, "Hey, by the way," and you don't usually get the "hey, by the ways," like you said, in payroll or IT. You usually just get the, "Hey, I'm under a lot of stress and I need help," is the good version, or you get the bad version, which is "freaking help me now."
Right. We're in damage control again.
Exactly.
Right. No, that is, I think, a huge differentiator. Prior to working with COVI, there was no such thing as a planning meeting with an IT company. I've never experienced that in my career.
Yeah. And I was really, not to toot my own horn, but I was really intentional about not calling our quarterly meetings quarterly business reviews, because in my past sales positions, which before I went back into IT, I had some sales roles. That was just a meeting to upsell or revisit quotes, or it was just a sales meeting. It wasn't a business review. It was a "give me business, please" meeting. And Chip and I talked a lot over coffees and beers in the 2015-16 range of, "Hey, if we're going to do this, let's do it meaningful. So what value are we going to bring to these meetings? And then we call them technology business reviews. And it was, hey, here's what your infrastructure looks like. Here's what your software looks like. Here's what your users look like, your security, your backups. And here's some things that we're thinking about. And then we do have a section of projects where we talk about projects that are ongoing and the status they're in, or projects that are upcoming and what they're addressing and how much they might cost. Or if we do have open quotes, we do them. I don't want to lie, but that's kind of an afterthought of the meeting.
It's part of the process, and it's a normal part of the process, but the real value is that and all the other things that you talked about.
Yep. And recently, this year, we used to do 3 quarterly meetings and 2 annual meetings, or 4 quarterly meetings and 2 annual meetings. Sometimes we combine those if the timeline lined up. And we've switched to just doing monthlies and quarterlies because cybersecurity and innovation in the tech space is changing so rapidly that we're seeing too much lag. In hey, we had this conversation 3 months ago and we haven't had any progress, and now we're in the next meeting and we're talking about it again. Those little 30-minute meetings in between have made it to where a lot of this new AI-driven innovation has allowed things to move along faster, or AI-driven cybersecurity threat has allowed us to close those gaps quicker as well. And then in your case, especially in quarter one, but in general, our plan is pretty robust already, and we're really good at working together because of the amount of time we've spent together. So your monthlies are just emails, unless there's something really important, then we'll let you know, like, hey, we really need to talk this month.
Right. And that works great for us. I mean, we're a small firm, and so as a small firm, a quarterly touch base makes sense. Monthly is probably a little more than what we need, but an update, a quick email update every month is just wonderful.
Yep. And part of our motive behind that is just to make sure that we're doing our jobs right. Like it's almost a check and balance on our end. Some of it is so that as well, but it's also like, hey, we need to make sure that everything's right. Are there any new trends on the cybersecurity reports that we haven't caught with our other systems? That meeting cadence is what is it's our
it's a way of helping to just keep on track.
It's our final quality assurance check, basically.